a started as a devotional by John Maxwell. John Maxwell is a private leader, motivational speaker. Sal gave him a thumbs up. He said a lot of things on leadership. In fact, he's a pastor in my town here in West Palm Beach. I've never gone to see him preach, but I have attended some of his events. And so he was just talking about leaders. And he said, if you're a leader, when you see your team, your staff, see them with a number 10 on their forehead. In other words, you feel that they have the potential of being a level 10 employee. They may not be there yet, but you know in your heart that they can be there. So you see that level 10 already, and you start treating them like that. You start pulling the best out of them. When I first read that, I thought that was pretty cool. And I started thinking, what if I have a guy and I really can't see the level 10? Do I even waste my time keeping this person on staff, or do I find a different position or let him go? But anyway, he starts talking about, how we can best communicate compliments to those we lead. And what he put down, the 4 things he put down are very similar to what we do in martial arts school. He goes, number 1, make them sincere, be genuine and authentic with what you say. 2, make them specific. Get very pointed and detailed about what you say. This is, again, part of martial arts instruction all the way. If we have a student and he's coming up and we're spotlighting him, and all of a sudden he comes out and he does his roundhouse kick, and we say, hey, Tom, that was awesome. That was a great roundhouse kick. Sit down, everyone give him a hand. We make Tom feel good, but we really didn't do our job, because our job is to make Tom aware of what he did so well. So, hey, Tom, I really want to compliment you on that for a couple of reasons. 1, your quick takeoff. I mean, your reaction time was amazing. Last thing I liked was your reach chamber. Not only did you kick, but you pulled it back and you're ready for another kick. So now when I'm specific, so Tom's going to go back and he's, okay, that's what I did good. I'm going to keep doing that. At the same time, I'm teaching those around him what I really liked about that roundhouse kick. Next thing he says, if you are going to compliment one of your team members, in which I think graduation is an amazing time for this, is to do compliments in public. Declare these honoring words in front of other people. You've heard me talk about prep zones in martial arts schools at the end of class. If you have the opportunity to walk one of the students over to the parents and then you compliment the student in front of the parents, it really means a lot more. It means more to the kid and makes the parents feel great. So when you do things as far as like your staff, and you're going to compliment them or praise them, do it in public. I love to do it in graduation because that's the time where I've got all the parents, all the students sitting there. And I can take Mr. Gavento. Mr. Gavento, I just want to have you stand up here for a second. I just want to thank you for doing such an incredible job with these students. I know how much effort you put into it, how you take it personally, and it really shows. I mean, you have a huge heart when it comes to these students. Students be so grateful to have you as an instructor. I know all the parents are really grateful. Everyone give Mr. Gavento a hand. Well, I just did a lot for Mr. Gavento. It only took me 30 seconds. But besides his pay and his education at the martial arts school, he really likes working for me because he's recognized and he's felt appreciated. And make them personal. This is something that I recognize in Sal, sort of like being specific, but be personal about what you say. Like when I say parents are really proud to have you as an instructor, I'm really proud to have you as part of the team. It's not just you're doing a great job, and this is what I recognize, but because of that great job, I feel that way about you. So I thought this was kind of neat having that imaginary 10 on the forehead. Even Sal with this kid that's a little bit overweight and he's not really in the best shape of his life. Well, does he still have a number 10? Well, if he still has a number 10, it's my job as instructor to pull that level 10 out of him. He's not ready for testing this time. That's okay. I remember when my son was, my grandson's, I won't even use my son, I use my grandson. My grandson's 10 years old. In the last year, I think he grew something like 10 inches. It's been really crazy. Last year, he was very coordinated. This year, he's like all over the place. And I go, David, it's really good that you're taking martial arts right now. But he just got to that stage. I mean, he was doing better at martial arts last year. It's not his fault. He didn't forget anything. His body just grew really weird, and it grew too much. And before he could touch his toes, and now he can't touch his toes. His bones grew. His muscles didn't grow. So, but when you're looking at someone like that, do they have the level 10? If they have the level 10, these are kind of 4 steps that Maxwell says that we should do. He was talking about employees. Anytime I think about employees, I think about students, because the students are just trying their best. So when I read this morning, I decided to take it a step further. Tuesday mornings, I work with a couple of women for support on Rainmaker. So I said, okay, I'm going to work with my team today at 12 o'clock, and I want to see if you guys give me some ideas. Can you give me 4 things that you think could make you a better employee? So it was up to you to become that level 10. What could you do for level 10? And then I said, tell me 4 things after that your boss does to bring out the very best in you and to make you feel very proud that you have the opportunity to be a Rainmaker employee. So their ideas for elevating themselves to level 10 was to have better time management. Make sure they're not using any personal time as work time. They had actually said that once in a while they may pick up their phone. They know picking up their phone at work is not the best idea. It may get a project off from being done now to being done later. So they have to be really more aware of time management. I thought that was pretty cool to someone to actually to admit that. We see that with employees all the time. Next thing they said was getting better at prioritizing things. Just because something doesn't have to be done tomorrow, if I get through my stuff today, why can't I just do it today? Why do I have to put it off to tomorrow just because it doesn't have to be done tomorrow? You know, if I have the availability time, I'm going to prioritize that and get it done. They were talking about communication, which is exactly what Sal was just talking about, talking to that parent. Probably one of the things that a martial artist likes to do, especially an owner likes to do, is be right. You know, what I say is right, what you say is wrong, and having a parent come up and go, my kid should test. You go, hey, listen, you're not the instructor. Sit down, shut up. I'm an instructor, your son's going to do it. I mean, that's probably what you feel like saying. But to raise up good staff members and to raise up good students, we have to learn to communicate. And I was really interested, so I started saying to these girls, I go, a lot of times when you do stuff, it's done through text and emails, because not every client talks to you. A lot of people just do that online texting. And she says, yep, says a lot of times I use emojis, or I use a different GIF just to bring out humor and to tie certain things in. So I thought that was very clever. So she's trying to build rapport for people. You know, things aren't lightheaded, but she's doing her very, very best job. So how can she carry on a better conversation? And one of those things was she came up with doing that. She says, you know, when I'm in a position where I'm trying to learn something, I really hate it when I feel stupid. Because if I feel stupid, I think the other people are thinking I'm stupid at the same time. So every time I deal with a client, I want to make sure that I make them feel good about themselves as they're learning this next task. And she goes, I think I can get better at that. I think I can get better at that on how I can empathize with people as I'm explaining something. So I don't make them feel bad about themselves because they don't understand that. I can make them feel real good about themselves as they're learning the answer. So again, this is an A team of employees that have been there for quite a while. But I thought that would be 4 really good things. They gave them to me, and I'm just passing them along to you guys because I think they're good tidbits for you to use in training new people. Things they liked about working. One was their boss has an open door policy. They don't have to go through a chain of command and able to talk to the boss. That made them feel like they can get answers right away. So they do have a supervisor talking to the supervisor, but they also know that the head of the company is open. And not only is he open, the next thing that that their boss is very concerned about their concerns. So they're not an employee that's just kind of sitting in the sidelines doing the work, but they're an employee who has a boss that's very concerned about their well-being, not just getting the job done, but their well-being. They're talking about a time that their systems had slowed down quite a bit, and they were having a horrible day at work. You know, people didn't understand that they had a problem with their systems going down, and they were just getting mad and yelling at them. And they said the boss came down and he says, "No, I just want to tell you guys, you are outstanding employees. You're doing a great job. I know how stressful this day has been. And again, I just want to compliment you on doing a good job, keeping your cool, and keeping our customers so happy." So that was all about all those three things are really the same thing. The boss is making me feel great. When I talk about why does a martial arts student take lessons at your school, everyone wants to feel better about themselves. So someone who's losing weight, when they lose weight and look in the mirror, they go, "I'm looking pretty sharp, man." They feel good about themselves. If they're learning self-defense, that's their big goal. And then all of a sudden they come to a situation and they're going from the car to a business that's dark out, and they're assessing the area. And they say, "I'm going to be smart about this. I'm going to park in front, and I'm going to be making sure that they feel good about themselves. They're smart. They're taking actions. They feel safe." Everyone wants to feel good about themselves. It's so important when people are training. But at the same time, we find these employees, it's the same thing. They like working there because they feel very good about themselves, because there's a concern that the boss has that they're not only doing a good job, but they're happy. Next thing they like is they like having regular evaluations, getting feedback, and understanding what they have to do to get a raise. They say the evaluations, sometimes they feel a little nervous going in there, but they like the feedback and they like the new guidelines. So again, when we start thinking about a happy employee is making a good income. A happy employee is getting an education. A happy employee is getting some recognition. So they know how they can do a better job. It's all back to the education part. They know they can do a better job, but they have to know where they're standing right now. So that'll go us back to John Maxwell. I'm going to give credit to the girls at Rainmaker for giving me such good insight. So when you look at your employees today and look at your students, get that 10 on the forehead. It's okay, they may not be a 10 yet, but they all have a potential to be a 10. What do I do when I have in my power to get them? And then use these comments not only from Maxwell, but from the ladies at Rainmaker. And that had nothing to do with our talk last week, Sal. This is just something that I happened to pick up and came to my attention today.
Yeah, some good stuff. You want me to tell you what happened with our chat last week?
Hold on one second. Let me stop recording.